All throughout our explorations, we had seen these incredible constructions of earth that in some places literally dominated the landscape.
But there's all these little tunnels that the termites are moving through. All the way around here is where the mound is. So we're only looking at a tiny part of the mound up here. The bulk of it is downstairs, underneath the ground. And then there's this sealed chamber that the female lives in, and she probably grows to something about that big, and she's pumping out thousands of eggs every day. The king hangs around and he fertilizes eggs, and then there's the rest of the colony are all moving eggs, taking them to the rearing chambers. Others are coming and collecting food, taking the food back to the fungus gardens. If an aardvark comes along and feeds actively in here, it will only do it for a certain amount of time, and then it gets the soldiers all over its muzzle that start biting or squirting, depending on the species, squirting unpleasant materials onto the face, so that he's not going to kill the whole breeding colony in one go, because then he's going to get rid of his food source. So it is controlled in that way. But if he happens to be eating a lot of soldiers, then a message gets down to the queen to say, produce more soldiers rather than workers. And it's all done by means of pheromones down in the ground. A really phenomenal society that can, I think, teach us a thing or two.
After taking tea on the banks of the Luangwa River, we ventured across the dried up portion of the riverbed to get a closer look at some of the resident hippopotamus.
See, that sound is above the water, and at the same time it's pushing it out under the water, because around about the larynx here they've got a little roll of fat that has the same consistency as the melon in a dolphin's head, and which is why they're doing 80% of their talking under the water. And they make the most incredible sounds, squeals and groans, and then the clicks like a dolphin.
Hippopotamus can grow up to 7,000 pounds in weight and stand over 5 feet high. They spend a lot of time in water, as their thin naked skin is vulnerable to overheating and dehydration. Capable of galloping at 18 miles per hour, these creatures are a lot more agile than they first appear. Hippos venture out of the water after dark, and often forage anything up to 6 miles a night. Further down the river, we encountered a colony of carmine bee-eaters. These birds build their nests within holes excavated in high exposed banks along the river. Also along the riverbank was a very talented British artist.
I'm Jonathan Truss. I'm a wildlife artist based in the UK. I'm out here getting some reference for a future exhibition early next year to raise money for the anti-poaching unit here and the South Luangwa Conservation Society. So all the money goes to a good cause. I've also brought some paintings with me that I did in my studio in the UK to sell to some of the clients here. It's probably the ultimate souvenir, I should imagine. But if we can raise some money for the society, it goes to a very, very good cause. And although poaching's on the decrease here, thank goodness, you need to keep on top of it, because it can always kick-start again. And they need funds to do that.
Each evening after sundowners, we headed out on night drives. There's something very special about this time of day, as it's prime predator time. The bush comes alive with creatures rarely seen throughout the day. This sleeping hippo soon cleared off under the glare of our lights. The hyenas especially like these hours, as the camp's kitchens are usually unguarded and a frequent target of attack. The civet is a formidable hunter and can even take nesting eagles, as they are marvellous climbers. Prey is always on the lookout for danger, and danger doesn't come in much more of a stealthy disguise than the leopard. Leopards are the least specialised and most adaptable of the big cats, and lives on anything it can catch, from small beetles to medium-sized antelopes. Setting out from our respective camps to reach the airport by 8:30, we flew back alongside the river and into open ground, filmed with baobab trees, where we came across this pair of lions.